Three, two, one. Hello and welcome to another Final Whistle Weekly. Well, Wrexham women's performance was a real beaut. Energy Welsh Cup semi-final win. I do love the snappy titles of these women's Welsh football competitions. And then also, we lost to Reading. The Wrexham Twitter sphere was going crazy, but Wycombe work it out. Hey, Wycombe work it. I spent up to and including 15 seconds thinking of that, so I think it all should cut me some slack. I'm Mark Griffiths, and joining me is, of course, Arthur P. Scar? Your shirt says Arthur P.
American
Scallick.
Soccer.
Wow, nice. Joining me is Arthur P. Scallick, all the way from the States. Hi, Arthur.
Yeah. I've had it many years, mine. So yeah, I've had it about 10 years.
Fair play, Neil. It's Neil
It's
Williams.
my gardening t-shirt. So I was out in the garden this afternoon, so it was my gardening t-shirt.
That's your gardening t-shirt?
Yeah.
Well, I've got to say, you're not putting enough effort in, mate, because it looks absolutely spick and span.
I put a lot of effort in. 4 hours worth.
4 hours worth?
Yeah.
See, Mrs. G refuses to let me go anywhere near decorating or gardening.
I saw decorating at the weekend and you just scarped it and left it to it.
100% right. I thought, what is a safe distance from between decorating and me to ensure that I won't be able to do it? So I went to Buckingham. Bang, straight down to Wycombe. No problem.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
then you went down to South Wales as well, didn't you, to evade it again?
No, Newtown. I'm sorry, I forgot where I was then. I totally forgot where I was last Sunday, which is not a first. Usually Lloyd Cole and the Commotions make songs about it, though.
That's ideal that the FA got it right for once and had a neutral venue knocked down in South Wales.
Oh, yeah. But don't worry. We're playing Cardiff in the final in Newport.
No.
I mean, it's not just the geography of it. It's the fact, it's the natural fairness that the Welsh FA specialise in, isn't it? Because last year we played Cardiff in Newport. So I think it's only right that this time we play Cardiff in Newport, isn't it?
Has that been decided already?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No.
The semi-finals took about 3 weeks, even though all they did was put them in the obvious place. But the final, immediately it was announced as Newport. Thank you, Welsh FA, for your absolute complete inability to understand that North Wales is part of Wales.
That shocked me.
I wish it shocked me. I really wish it did. I think you may be being sarcastic there, Neil. Well played. And just speaking of the Women's Welsh Cup final, which we, spoiler alert, qualified for, we will be speaking to one of the scorers in that game, and I can guarantee you it is a corking interview. Brooke Cairns, who has been outstanding in midfield for us this season, is going to be speaking later, and it's a good one. You don't want to miss it. But you don't want to miss any of this rich content, do you? You crazy fools. This is Final Whistle Weekly. Right, let's do this in chronological order. At first, the Earth was a molten ball of rock. Then it cooled. I'm sorry, apologies to Police Squad there. No, chronological order. Wycombe on Saturday. I mean, Neil, this was an unbelievably high-stakes match. And, wow, we came through.
Biggest game of the season, really, Mark, wasn't it, at this point? Because, Wycombe won. They'd have gone 6 point clear. If we draw, they'd still be 3 points ahead and it would be in their hands. It was a game we need to go into and come home with 3 points, which we have been doing a lot recently on the road, apart from Reading. So, my hopes were high.
Our away form is really remarkably improved, isn't it? As well, like you say, we keep grinding out these 1-0s, and there's no sweeter scoreline as far as I'm concerned when it comes to Actually, as long as you win, that's all that matters. So it was fantastic that we had to, again, like the Reading game, work very hard in the first half, though, didn't we, in order to get there?
Yeah, it wasn't pretty at all, was it, Mark, to watch it again? Unlike the Reading game, we were a bit more organised. We were, closed their players down a lot. A good performance put in the first half. Neither team really dominated for me. It was a very even game, but the stakes were so high, and neither team wanted to make a big mistake. And that's what it looked like on the pitch. But like most second halves, we seem to improve a lot in the second half.
For me, I sort of I thought they were better than us in the first half. But in the same way that Reading were. And then at half time at Reading, I felt fairly optimistic because there've been a few games like that. I think in this winning run away from home where we've had to dig in and fight in the first half, and the other side have had the better of us, but we've not really given them any chances in the box, which I think was roughly true with Wycombe as well. But the problem was at Reading, we didn't kick on in the second half, and so I was a little more wary at Wycombe. To be fair, well, my lads wasn't able to go to the game, and he wasn't able to see the first half, and he only watched it from half time. And so he was speaking in very glowing terms about how we did, because I thought in the second half we did really, really well, especially bearing in mind we're at the home of a side that have done so well.
Yeah, they hadn't, they had lost a couple of games and drew a couple of games recently. They were the informed team, doing really well, but they've been stretching a bit like ourselves. But we know the outcome, and 3 points to Wrexham, we were even on points, just third, but on goal difference. So the season is not over by a long shot yet, is it, Mark?
No, but notwithstanding the fact that Wycombe won in midweek, I still I feel very happy that we're in the driving seat in a way. They've got a heck of a tough running, and no game's easy, but certainly, it's in our hands now, and we've got to just make sure that we absolutely make certain. I mean, Wycombe are not only playing teams that are up in the top 10, but they're also playing teams that are fighting for survival, and both of those scenarios can be tricky this time of year, can't they?
Yeah, but we've got the same, to be honest, Mark. We've got Charlton at home. This Saturday we've got Stockport at home. Again, no easy games. Charlton are on fire at the moment. Stockport won at Bolton at the weekend. And then we've got the likes of Burton coming to the racecourse, who, like you said, they're a club that's fighting for their lives. So, it's not going to be easy for us. But on paper, yes, we've got the easier running. But, this is football we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely true. I've got the away table up in front of me. Everybody was so horrified by our away form. And I just want to point out that on the away table now, we're 7th, which is kind of tasty, not least because we got game in hand on the two teams above us. So, and they're on equal points with us. They're just ahead of us on goal difference. If we win our next away game, we will go level with Barnsley, who are 3rd in the away table, and we'd be 1 point behind Birmingham in the away table. And they admittedly have played one game less than us. And Wycombe have got the most away points. They've got 36 from 19. We've got 28 from 18. So like I said, if we win our next away game, we'll be 5 points behind them. We could end up being the best team, having the best away record in the division by the end of the season. That'd be nuts.
Yeah, I think, you've got to look at our clean sheets as well, which has been pretty good as well. I think it's 11, I'm not sure.
More than that. We've won 11 games 1-0.
Right, okay. That's the stuff I heard. Sorry, yeah. But yeah, the number of clean sheets have been very, very good. It's great for team confidence. It's great for the keeper, whoever's in goal, whether it be a Conquo. So, yeah, I mean, when you think we've got 71 points already, you think, wow. And we got another 27 available to us in the last 9 games. So I can see us easily finishing mid-80s.
Yeah. It's been a disappointing season, hasn't it?
Oh, shocking season. But ridiculous when you think, we got promoted last year, and I thought it was going to be a real struggle because we're playing bigger and better teams. And as you know, the likes of Huddersfield and Birmingham had come down, and Rotherham had come down from the Championship. So all going to be big, tough teams to beat. But we're taking 4 points off Huddersfield. I think we've taken 6 points off Rotherham. And, we should have taken 3 points off Birmingham in the home match, but we've only taken 1 off them. So, but, you look where the position they are, although they've been stuttering slightly a little bit recently as well. So I don't think any fan could be unhappy at the position we're in. Maybe, I was speaking to a couple of fans yesterday, different guys, and yes, we're not playing the best football, but we're still grinding out results, which is all that matters, really. But we do like to be entertained as well.
I mean, I think I'm right in saying I was working this out at the weekend. I think it's the 11th already most clean sheets we've kept in the season, but obviously there's a good chunk of the season to go. So, I mean, that is quite something, isn't it? Really, we could end up challenging the club record for the most clean sheets. I suspect we might not quite do that, but heck, we're going to come fairly close. And I would also point out, you're saying about those results that we got against those teams that had come down. I mean, only 1 point against Birmingham, but Wycombe got none. So if we want to look at it as a contest in that way, we've actually gained a point on them, haven't we? So that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. And we've taken 6 off Wycombe, so
yeah.
It's a funny old game. But came back to the game, what a superb goal from Smith to win that game. I mean, it was a bit of a head tennis in the area, and they couldn't clear it. We were heading up the ball. Fletcher then headed it on, and who was on the back post there but Smith to volley it in. And still, I can't see. I mean, you may have seen it better, Mark. Was it a deflection off that strike, or?
Yeah, I think it was. I gotta be honest, Neil. I mean, we had the most fantastic view because the Wycombe press box is not on the halfway line. It's sort of level with the edge of that penalty area. So I had the most fantastic view of it, and I've got to be honest. I thought at the time that he put an incredible amount of swerve on it because it just didn't look like it hit someone. It just looked like it took off, and it also looked like he hit it wide, and then suddenly it was going in. Looking at the replays, yeah, I think it took a deflection, which is a shame because I was thinking this is the sort of goal that makes Marco van Basten look like an enthusiastic amateur. What a hit! But yeah, I think it may have taken a big deflection. Who cares?
Oh, who cares? Yeah, I mean, it's just good to see the Smith is starting to put some goals in the back of the net. We signed 2 strikers in January, and he's firing now and getting to know how we play. And I think him and Fletcher make a good pair up front. To be honest, I think Smith plays very well off Fletcher. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what the starting lineup will be on Saturday. I mean, I think Parky uses Fletcher as a super sub in most of the games. Do we switch that and start with Fletcher on Saturday? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Mark?
No midweek game this week, no midweek game next week. So if you're going to try and pull a surprise, Saturday would be a day when you could maybe gamble of starting with Fletcher. I think he's got a lot of nice options, if I'm honest. Personally, I'd stick with what we've got. I think that Rodriguez does a lot of good work, sometimes that people don't seem to fully appreciate. In our last home game, I thought he was really good against who was it? Rotherham, wasn't it? And got the assist. And I personally would keep that going, knowing that you got the likes of Fletcher coming off the bench. But it's a nice position to be in, I think.
Yeah, it is. I think maybe he may be a little bit frustrated because he's had some chances which he should have put away, Mark. And I think maybe when he scores that first goal, the pressure will be lifted off him, and we may see a different player.
Yeah, and I do accept. I know some people are a bit frustrated, and I think it's partly because he's obviously got a fabulous background in the game and just been a magnificent player throughout his career, and so maybe they were expecting him to tear the whole division up, but he has been mostly coming off the bench at Burnley. I think people have to be realistic about that. And the other thing is that he hasn't been doing the sort of eye-catching, tearing up tree things that make people sit up and pay attention. But there's a lot of good work in the way that he supports players, in the way that he blocks defenders off, like for Rathbone's goal against Rotherham, where nobody could get to Rathbone because Rodriguez had read the situation. He's a clever player, I think. And there've been some moments where his vision and ability to hit a pass is you could see that England international quality. And I just think he is most undoubtedly worth persevering with. If he starts to really click in the running, wow, that's a big breakthrough. And if not, we have players that we know we can rely on. Also, I'd say Rodriguez does a good job coming back for set pieces as well. He's physical enough. So personally, I say we are doing well. We're winning matches, and I'm happy with it.
And then you look at the wings, Mark. Do we stick with what we started with on Saturday, where we have McLean on the wing instead of? Oh God, my brain's gone dead. Mark, help me out. Yeah, because he's been swapping the wingers around in quite a few of the games. Revan, he's out as a winger. Barney. Who will he have on the wings? I'm not too sure, but I think McLean made quite a big statement on Saturday and a claim for his place maybe back in the team.
I mean, Barnett was not fit for Saturday, and so I don't know what his status is going into next weekend. Although I would have to say Longman was very impressive on the left, wasn't he, against Reading? And he, I thought, played very well, especially in the second half against Wycombe. And I did have some misgivings early on about, okay, he's a very attacking player. Is the defensive side of his game there? Well, the last few games, I've not had any worries about that at all, personally. So I really like the look of Longman. Of course, there is the option to have him on the left, where he did so well against Reading. Revan was fit, but he did get a knock on the Tuesday, and it was an end of a nice little run of about 3 really good performances for him. So, yeah, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? All 4 of those players are players that I'd be happy with going into this crunch part of the season. So that's a smashing position to be in, isn't it?
Oh, couldn't ask for anything more to have 4 wingers there to choose from, maybe 5 even. But must give Parky awful headaches on. I guess a lot of it maybe tactically as well on the opposition we're playing, on who he decides to play, because Stockport are normally a big brute of a team when they come to the racecourse. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the lineup is. I think he's settled now on his defence, on his 3 central defenders. Midfield basically picks itself as well. So it's
I don't know if he settled on the back 3, is he? Because he brought Lewis Brunt in on Saturday.
Oh, he did. Yes, yeah.
And you wonder whether, because they've got a lot of mobility and a lot of pace up front, Wycombe, so whether he's thinking Brunt is quick. Well, if that's the case, and he did play well too, I suspect he'll keep his place on Saturday because, of course, they've got Olafe up front for Stockport, who scored a hat-trick against us last season. He's quick. He's a proper handful. And I was watching the highlights of their game at the weekend, and he looked really on fire. Everything they were doing was him driving forwards with the ball. So I think maybe somebody with a bit of pace might well be a prerequisite. But it's not just that. I think Brunt played very well last Saturday and deserves his spot. All 3 of the centre-backs did really well.
Yeah, so I'd say he doesn't make major changes in the defence. He'll bring one in maybe and leave predominantly the same defence. So it'll be an interesting lineup on Saturday, but I can't see much of a change from the Wycombe game, to be honest.
I wouldn't think so. I think as well, sometimes people criticise a performance. You've got to bear in mind if someone's carrying an injury, it can make a big difference. And if you want a proof of that, they only have to look at Arthur Okonkwo's performance. I mean, that rough night that he had against Stevenage, he's fit now, and he's a different man, isn't he, from that Arthur? Because goodness me, the saves he's made in the last couple of matches, that save when it was 1-0 at Wycombe was utterly brilliant, wasn't it? And then also the one at Reading, which I didn't appreciate at the time. I thought it's just hit him. But when you look back at it, it's driven of superpower, and he's somehow just by reflex got his hand up, and it's like, how the heck did he do that? He's looking fantastic, isn't he?
Yeah, he made a couple of good saves against Rotherham as well, didn't he? So yeah, one was way down to his left. So yeah, he's really coming to his own again, hasn't he, since he's come back from injury? So poor old Howard, although he's great when he comes and has to step in, he's back on the sidelines as a sub keeper at the moment. But football's a funny game. You never know when you're going to be called upon.
Exactly so. And Okonkwo, you're quite right. That save against Rotherham and that save against Wycombe, let's be honest, late saves when we're winning 1-0, they've earned us 4 points. It's pure and simple. If those go in, we've drawn both matches. So thank you, Arthur.
Yeah.
Fair play.
It's,
sorry, go on.
The massive game after Stockport is Charlton at Wrexham. They're on a real run at the moment, and they're chasing on our tail. So
hey, they might not be the run when they come to us, though. Take every game as it comes, Neil. Come on, get your cliche.
That's true, Mark. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Anyway, that was it was a heck of a triumph in a big match. One we've been.
Especially with the hold up, obviously, and the extra minutes being played. It's the match didn't finish till like nearly 5:30, did it? So yeah, it was for them to come back on the pitch as well and take start off where they finished off and get that goal after that was just superb.
Well, to start off where they finish off, because they've got a corner and you could get caught cold, and they've got Lee, who was a superb deliverer of corners, and in the Wycombe game in midweek, he caught Rotherham out. Their second goal was a great delivery by him, which admittedly Rotherham dealt with very, very poorly. But nonetheless, to come back into that, we had to ride our luck a touch with O'Connell putting it off the line. But, again, fair play. We came straight back out and scored at the other end, didn't we? And, it's obviously, we've sent all our best wishes to the supporter who was unwell. And it did put things in perspective because, again, I think everybody appreciated just Wycombe's basic decency, and they are a good club anyway. I mean, there's no two ways about that. Wycombe are a classy club, and as you'd expect, but they didn't have to go the extra steps in some areas. They distinguished themselves in how they handled it. Their players clapping the Wrexham fans was brilliant. And I don't know, did you notice that that concluding 13 minutes plus added time was, I think, the only point in the season where an opposing set of fans haven't booed James McLean when he's on the ball, which I thought was rather nice. I think it just put a little reminder in everyone's minds all around the ground of it's just a game. Let's keep this in perspective. And
as you say, it puts it all into perspective, doesn't it, Mark? As you say, it's just a game of football. Yes, we're all passionate about the game, but there's some things in life which are far more important. And as you said, we give our well wishes to the supporter who took ill, and that, from what I've read on Facebook, he is making a recovery in hospital. And so, and as you say, the Wycombe players applauding the Wrexham fans, because Wrexham fans yet again turned out in the thousands down to Wycombe. They sold out. I think it was like 1,800 there. So yeah, I mean, all these clubs must relish Wrexham come to their ground, because we sell out the away end every time, and I think the whole game for Wycombe was sold out. It was their biggest crowd for many years.
It's their biggest. Oh gosh, I write these anorak things on Saturday, and then I forget what they are by the middle of the week. I think it's their biggest ever league attendance. Wycombe, they've squeezed in slightly more for some cup games, but yes, it's their biggest league attendance in the EFL. They have, well, actually, I think probably completely. Couldn't find like when they're going back into their non-league days, but I suspect it probably is an outright record, but certainly as far as it can be traced, it seems to be a league record for them. And it was a very good atmosphere. It was really the Wrexham fans were unbelievable. They were. Oh. Fair play to them.
As they always are when they go away, fair play to them. They're great support for the team, and I'm sure the team really appreciates them getting behind them, and it does make a huge difference to them on the pitch there.
There was a spine-tingling moment before the match And I'm sure I've ranted about this before, but I'm no fan of loud music before the match. Not because I'm a fuddy-duddy. In fact, as you'll hear in our interview later, I'm quite happy for celebratory music on a team bus afterwards. But before the match, I always feel, don't kill the fans' atmosphere. Why blast music out if the fans are going to make noise? And I just thought that when Wrexham finished warming up, they finished by doing some sort of like some running, like warm down exercises, and they finished it by running right to the Wrexham fans up to the goal line. And the Wrexham fans obviously must realise that's the end of the warm up, and the roar that came out of the Wrexham fans as all the players like clapped them and turned to go back. Wow, it was something. It really was. And you think, wow. But that sort of support, and also the fact that when we were under the cosh a bit, they just made more noise. It was to compensate. Fantastic support. Like you said, it's got to give you a lift, doesn't it?
Oh, it's got to be, and I totally agree with you, Mark. I think, let the fans make the noise in the ground. We don't need these. My gripe after the Rotherham game, it was a hard-fought win. And the fans and the players were celebrating on the pitch. And as soon as the ref blew his whistle, blooming loud music over the speakers. And I think we don't really need that. Let the fans celebrate, and let us hear the fans celebrate, and let the players hear the fans celebrating in the stands without this loud music playing the way.
At least it's not as bad at our level as, like Wembley is ludicrous. It's just, you can't hear yourself think. And well, since I've been there, Man United used to be like that. I don't know if it still is. They probably can't play the music too loud because they'll start making holes in the roof, won't they? As soon as they haven't repaired their stadium since Matt Busby was a boy. But the last major renovations of Old Trafford was when the Germans bombed it, as I recall. So, they're getting a new stadium now. But, so essentially, we're lucky compared to that. But anyway, should we put that to bed? I think we probably should.
Yeah.
Because now, before we talk about that fantastic semi-final win, let's listen to one of the stars of that victory over Pontypridd, because I was lucky enough to catch up with Brooke Cairns, tremendous all-round midfielder, and as you're about to hear, somebody who absolutely loves the game and loves getting out on that pitch and showing what she can do. So after this, Brooke Cairns. Recorded. What started? Nice one. 3. I'll do my little timing thing. 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
Here we go. Indeed. Right. So, well, Brooke, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really, really grateful. I've been keen to chat to you. Now, people listening might guess that you've got some connection with Liverpool, perhaps. So tell us about the early story and how you're getting into football, who you're playing for, things like that.
So originally I was from Liverpool. I moved to Southport and grew up in Southport when I went to school. Started off playing football just in school with the boys kind of thing. And I remember one day they said to me, like, come along, like, to the team. They played for a team. And at the time, my mum was like, no, you're not going, you're going to dancing. And I said, but I don't want to go to dancing, I want to go to footy. So I remember my dad said to me, I'll take you to dancing today. He said to me, take your football kit. So he took me along to the football and I was meant to go to dancing. And then ever since it, just started playing, went through a couple of different grassroots teams. I got picked up by Blackburn Centre of Excellence at the time. So that's where I actually started my football career, if you want to call it. I was at Blackburn for 2 years. I made my England debut, and then at the Christmas went and signed for Liverpool. So for me, this was like dream come true. Absolutely loved Liverpool growing up. Steven Gerrard was my hero. Liverpool was everything to me. So signed for Liverpool for 2 years. Ended up going to Everton. Was at Everton for 2 years, so that might be a little bit controversial. enjoyed my time everywhere I've been. I think everywhere I've been has been a great experience, and I've learned a lot. From Everton, went to West Ham, probably the best thing that ever happened to me. So I just turned 18. I moved away from home when I lived in London, come into a completely different environment, into a full-time environment with professional athletes. Had no idea what I was walking into. I kind of just turned up on my first day thinking, I'm just going to play footy, and walked in and was surrounded by girls from all over the world, different languages, different cultures, different backgrounds. And that in itself was really special to me, because I think I cared a lot about the girls, and it was really nice to learn about where people have come from and their journeys as well.
That is superb. I feel bad because you've just explained that so beautifully that I need to go back and ask you a really stupid question, right?
But here we go.
I was watching the watch along of the Rotherham game on Tuesday night because they were playing Wycombe, and it has an influence of the team. And it's run by Josh, who's American, and he did an amazing job. But in the comments, for some reason, we were talking about weird museums, and he would not believe that Southport has got a lawnmower museum. Can you please, as you lived in Southport, can you straighten him out?
Which museum?
Oh, hell, I'm wrong. No, lawnmower museum.
I don't know.
Oh,
They may well have, but I'm not sure. They may well have.
But I think any sensible person who lives in Southport is not going to know about the lawnmower museum.
Can't say I've ever been in or heard about it, but there may well be.
Oh man, I'm gonna suffer when he sees this. Nightmare. Sorry, we'll go back to business.
I'll ask the question. I will ask the question, and I'll find out for you.
Well, the going back to footy. Now you come, like I said, West Ham's a brilliant experience for you. You come to Wrexham. I was talking to Lizzie Craven at the weekend. She was saying how Wrexham felt professional. You know, it reminded her of Man City's academy when she was there.
Yeah.
For you, having learned that from West Ham, if you will, and had that experience, what did come to Wrexham feel like? Did it feel the same as Lizzie, that, all right, this is a good setup as well?
You know what? Wrexham has been so good to me, and I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to come in. In terms of setup, day to day, it's different. However, everybody looks after each other in there, and I think it feels a bit like a family. So day to day, the setup is a little bit different, just time and schedule, etc. But on a whole, you know, the level of professionalism is just the same. Staff, players, you know, everybody wants the same thing, and that's what you find in football. We're all there to win.
Yeah. It's the owners maybe can't buy players in the same way as for the men's team, so they spent it on making the setup professional, haven't they? And you can see that. And also, just, you know, our fitness levels. You can see at the end of games, we're running teams into the ground often, aren't we? It's quite fun to watch.
Yeah.
And you came in, of course, partway through last season, so you've seen that. I mean, I think you were one of the early ones in this important process, because we were bringing in players who were good passers of the ball. We were a really quick breakaway sort of transition team, and then players like you come in, like Liv, and we've kept doing that. Players who can play on the floor. Well, the other ones can, don't get me wrong, but, you know, we've become a much more technical team, the way that we knock it around. And I think, would you agree with that? Because it seems to me
100%.
Yeah,
100%. When I first came in, that was the biggest difference for me. It was a completely different game.
Yeah.
I think I had to adapt my game as to, right, okay, I'm not always going to be able to drop in and receive the ball. Sometimes I'm going to have to play off the seconds, or the anticipation of things is a little bit different. But I definitely do think this season, credit to the staff as well, because they've put a lot of effort into how we play, how we want to play, what we do in final third, how we build. But certainly from when I first come in, things have changed a lot. I'd say sometimes at moments it still is a little bit transitional, but that's football. I think sometimes you've got to play what's in front of you, and if that's what you've got to do to win, and that's what you've got to do, it's not always going to be pretty. Sometimes you've got to win ugly and just crack on. But I certainly like to keep the ball on the floor. That's just my game.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be able to play both. You've got to be able to adapt and play what's in front of you.
Yeah, it's definitely your game. I enjoy watching you when you move with the ball. It's superb. I was saying in a commentary a few weeks ago, because you were really doing the scrapping in midfield, and I was saying, oh yeah, look at that, Liverpool fan, Stevie G does a bit of hard work, does a bit of skill. But that actually, if I'm honest with you, you remind me on the ball of Thiago more. If I want to pick a Liverpool,
Thiago.
yeah,
I've been called much worse, so I'll take Thiago.
I hate Thiago's quality, but the way you address the ball, the way you carry it, it's good. It's good to watch. It's really sort of you glide around the pitch. It's brilliant to see, and you love a little bit of a touch. Someone comes close to you, they don't know which way you're going to go. They don't know where that ball's about to just shift, so you can change the angle. You look like you just love being on the ball.
That's it. And I think perhaps my game has changed as well since I've come in, because when I first come in, it was kind of two touch, get it, give it, get it, give it. And then I've thought I've had to adapt in the style of I can actually hold on to it for a little bit longer at times. Sometimes, can you be the person to beat someone or make something happen? It's not just a case of, right, okay, break up play and give it. It's, right, what's next? What can I do to impact the game? How can I influence it? So I think that's something I've definitely changed, to make a conscious effort, watching the game back, thinking, okay, but can I be a little bit more creative here? Can I be the one to make something happen rather than just breaking a play up and giving it?
And it's good as well, because, oh God, I'm just going to show how old I am now. Although at least I'm going to show how old Gareth Owen is as well in the process. We got promoted, Wrexham got promoted in 1993. And I was just starting out doing the interviews, and Gareth was a really good young player. And I remember doing this really good interview with him where he said that he could always play the worldie, you know? But he said he learned so much because we brought in a midfielder from Sheffield United called Mike Lake, and he was class. And Gareth, they were the two centre mids. And Gareth would say he learned so much from him about when to play the worldie, when to play it short, decision making like that. And it strikes me that that's something that you sort of brought into your game, if you will. You know what I mean? That when are you going to take your time on the ball and have a look around? When are you going to break it up and give it? That feels like a big part of your game now.
Yeah, I think you have to pick your moments. That's crucial. You've got to pick your moments. And before I receive the ball, I always know what I'm going to do next, whether I'm giving it there, I'm giving it here, or I'm going to keep it. So it's picking your moments, and it's also stages of the game. If we're 1-0 up and we're in the 85th minute, I'm not going to just hold on to it and try. You know, it's a case of moving the ball, keeping the ball, and playing the game.
It's and what you're describing, that process, like you say, how the style has changed a bit. I was trying to explain this last Sunday because we had lots of great questions coming in from people watching. They were saying, how has it changed? How come at the start we weren't getting results and now we are? So here's my theory. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, right? I reckon we were always set up to play like this. It's just it takes a bit of time to sort of bed in. And even when we weren't getting results, we're still playing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it just takes, and then once it all clicks, you look at it now, you look at the rotations against Pontypridd, for example, and it's like, it looks so natural, you know, and that you'll get the ball, you know what sort of movements players are going to make. It takes time to bed that in, and now it's bedded in, and it looks awesome. Am I right, do you think?
100%. There's no hiding it. We had a tricky start to the season. I think everyone will admit results weren't there. Performances actually were quite good. I think some of the games we have won now, the performances were actually better when we weren't getting the results. But it's all about winning. So whatever it takes on the day. The mentality's always been the same and the setup. Okay, we have switched formations. We have tried a few different things. Sometimes in games we've gone, right, should we switch to a 4 now or should we stick with a 3? But I think now we have our core values, how we want to play, what we're set up to do, and we're not really changing for anyone.
Yeah.
And I think that's us, that's how we play. You can adapt to us, and if you want to match us, you can match us, and if you don't, then so be it. We're here to win. I think we have our patterns and we have our rotations, like you said, and I do think it's clicked. I really enjoy playing with Cara on the right hand side. I've actually played with Cara when we were maybe 7 or 8 years of age, and then when we've got a little bit older, we've began to play again. But I know what Cara's going to do. I know if she gives it me, I'll give it back down the line. I know she'll put a really good ball into the box. She can deliver a great cross. So I think it's just learning about the players around you, but also having that confidence and belief. There was times where we thought we're going to have to turn this into a transitional game. We're just going to have to get rid of it. But I think we have to back each other a little bit more as well, like giving the ball on the floor, trust them. We're all good players. We can play. It's just having that confidence and belief. And of course, when results aren't going your way, that's something that's really hard to get and try and just buy into. I think Lizzie's had a great season as well. She's kept us in some massive games. I think she's been a crucial part. Her deliveries, I think they've set us up for some goals as well. Back three have been solid the past 7 or 8 games, really, really good. So it's not just a case of there's a few players, winning the games for us. I think it's a whole team effort and a whole collective. And I don't think we've got goal scorers, we've got people, as I said, Lizzie. But I think everybody is just playing their part now, and everybody's confident in their roles and what we've got to do and what needs to be delivered.
Exactly. And I think the thing you can't measure is you're a team with a lot of guts, and the mentality is superb. I mean, I was on the coach for the Cardiff Met game, the low points,
Yeah.
And, it could have been like everything breaks down there. But instead, you've kept going, and you've kept going to the way that you prepared. Do you know what I mean? Playing well, not getting results. A squad could give up. And I think, well, why? This isn't working. We've got to try something different. But you trust the coaches, you trust the approach, you're all in on it, and you get the rewards in the end. And I think that ability to bounce back and stick with it and just have the faith that you're doing the right thing and it'll come, that is massive. It's brilliant mentality.
Just on your point of having trust in the coaches, I think, all the girls respect our staff. And I think perhaps that was something that switched us to think, right, we've got to fight for our manager here. We've got to stick together, because as much as we want to win, we want to fight for our manager, everything he does for us, and we just weren't getting the results, and it was killing us. So that was perhaps the switch where we thought, right, we've really got to get down and something has to change. So it's good, really, because we fight for each other. We're just all one big team, which is really, really good.
As you're a Red, I mean, you'll appreciate that. It's a bit like if Jurgen Klopp tells you to do something and you're not sure, you still do it because you trust him.
You got to do it. Yeah, of course.
Certain managers would tell you to do something and you're thinking, yeah, all right. You're not really committed. But yeah, fair play. The coaching staff are so good, aren't they? They impress me so much. And they're such a team themselves, aren't they?
They've put a lot of effort, whether it's analysis or, technical detail, or whether it's, making sure we're fit to play 90 minutes week in, week out. There's just, there has been a lot of work. And I think there's been a few changes in the past couple of weeks, which is maybe why the results have gone our way. They've done that little bit extra, or quite open to, is there anything that we can do? That was something that happened. It was, what can we do to help you individually or as a collective, or do you need any more from us? So that was really reassuring, and they're always there to help, and they just want the best for us.
Yeah, that's good coaching, isn't it? That trust means that they can come back to you like that and say, what do you want us to do? That's brilliant, that is. I've got to tell you, I've just this second, I think, got an invitation onto the team bus for Saturday, Sunday. So yes,
brilliant.
Good stuff. They especially if the journey back is Nat Clark sticking a boombox right in front of me to blast the music out for celebration. That's fine by me. Absolutely fine by me.
Speaking of Nat Clark, I think she's been a great addition for us. I've become very, very good friends with Nat, and for the team, I think she's somebody who likes to get the ball on the floor and play it as well. She's been playing at the back, but she can step into midfield and play that number 6 role. And she's quite happy to she's comfortable on the ball, give it, and she sees nice pitches in front of her. So I think she's been a crucial signing this year, and she's become a real leader within the group as well. She's not been with us for too long, but she's really become a leader for us, and it's someone that I really, if I look beside me and she's on a pitch with me, it's like, come on, let's stick together and we'll fight for each other. If she can't get there, I'm going for her. I'm running through the wall for her, and that's reciprocated for me. So she's a great signing for this year.
When we beat TNS 3-1, that gantry, it's great just to watch the close-up movements, and just the way that she was reading the game when TNS had it. The number of times she'd just step in and anticipate their passes and break moves up was really striking. And also the fact, and I've noticed this for a few weeks now, she makes interceptions that are also great passes. You know what I mean? She, like you said, she sees the picture in front of her. So when she steps in, she already knows where Abby is or whoever, and she doesn't just intercept. It's a bang, first-time pass, and the opposing side are turned straight away. And yeah, she's quality, isn't she? Fair play.
She's a really good girl as well, Mark. Great girl to have in the group.
Not sure about her musical taste.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm just saying about actually, no, I'm wrong. I thought her taste was pretty good. I think the coaching staff might have taken control of that playlist coming back from Cardiff after the service station, and it went really downhill. So as far as I'm concerned, yeah, Nat should keep the wheels of steel. As far as I'm concerned. God.
We'll give her some stick on the way down on Saturday.
You're thinking about that process. I said, the technical players who keep the ball on the floor, and like you said, 3 players have come in this season. Lizzie, who, as you say, plays a really important role in that. She's really good with the ball at her feet, and she anticipates well. Nat, obviously, really technical player, and then Abby is the 3rd player up front, and again, technique is her thing. I liked your goal on Sunday against Pontypridd, and the way you two worked it was tremendous. She looks like a player on your wavelength who can, again, really anticipate where you're going to go, what you're going to do with her.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing with Abby. She got the bullet off her head there on the weekend, didn't she?
Oh,
and then she hit the crossbar moments later. With Abby, it's a case of she knows where I'm going to be. I know where she's going to be, and she knows to give it to my feet. She can come short, she can go long. I just think we work well with each other. Perhaps this is something at the start why we wasn't getting results. New players have come in. We don't really know how each other works. But I think recently, Abby assisted me on the weekend. I assisted Abby. It's just something that's from training we're working on. We're learning how each other work. I really enjoy playing with her.
Oh yeah, that assist, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a bit of a Thiago, I thought, on the run.
It wasn't a shot, I promise. I promise you it wasn't a shot. I think on Twitter it said it was a shot, but I can promise you it wasn't a shot.
I never thought it was a shot until you said that.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I had to put it along the 6-yard box because of where the defence was. I thought, well, she can either nick it in front of the keeper or the keeper's going to parry out, and she did, and she got the rebound, but it wasn't a shot.
I didn't think it was a shot. I thought, like I said, it's a Thiago travelling with the ball and doing that little dink chip. It's good. It's lovely bowling, I thought.
But you've got to give the credit to Kez because it was a great ball in behind. I think she got it and she turned away from the girl and she played it, and it was a great pass from Kez.
She just goes charging into midfield, doesn't she? I mean, she takes so many kicks and she's happy to. I mean, if she isn't going to break play open like she did then, and it was nice when she turned and the whole Pontypridd team went in the wrong direction, but she's not going to do that. She's going to win us free kicks.
She's somebody I'd hate to play against. If she was on the other team, I wouldn't want to be up against Kez.
Yes, she scares me. Sometimes I duck for cover when she tackles someone on the halfway line. But and that goal against, I got to say, as one of my favourite goals of the season, the Pontypridd one. It's all about passing and movement. And then I just thought as well, you thinking about things, because you'd had the chance earlier, which was hard and it looked, where you got ahead of the striker, and it's taken a bounce as it's coming in from the side, and you've gone for a bit of power, and it's been hard to keep down. So when you get the second chance, you're going to pass it in off the post. I thought that was a quality.
Was it a sitter, Mark?
Um, I'm going to say, I'm going to be honest. When I first saw it, I thought, ooh, might be a sitter. But there, it came bouncing up at like sort of just under knee height from the side.
That's what we'll go with then. We'll go, it was bouncing up at knee height.
Yeah, you needed a sidewinder. You had to sort of get on top of it, hit it into the ground. You know, I mean, that's.
That's what we'll go with.
But the goal you scored, nice. Just pass it past the keeper, and she was a good shot stopper. To be fair, as well, she was stopping.
That keeper had the number. She was man of the match for me on the weekend.
Yeah.
We could have had 7 or 8, and she kept them in it. She made a crucial save in the first minute, I think it was. I think there was maybe 4 or 5 consecutive shots. She's just kept out of a goal. She kept them in it. I thought she had a great game on the weekend, actually.
I quite admired Pontypridd because they're a young team and they kept going. And like you say, we were on top of it comfortably, but they again wouldn't give up, improved in the second half, and they actually looked like they sort of asked us questions in terms of our fitness in the second half, which Adrian Premier teams don't seem to be. And fair play to them. They showed a lot of guts, I thought.
Definitely, I think they changed shape at half time. And I think, as you said, the young, so potentially a little bit a lack of experience in there, and half time they made a few changes and they kind of just let us have it at the back. When a ball went wide, that's when they come and got pressure on us. And I thought second half they give us a really good game, and there was a couple of times where I thought these look dangerous here, these are going to score. But yeah, kept a clean sheet. Yeah, 100%.
Brilliant. And just in general as well. I mean, we actually matched the club record for the second most wins in a row on Sunday. If we win, if we win every game for the rest of the season, we'll break the record in the final. Because the record's 11, we've won 7. It is fantastic, isn't it? Though, and winning, where do I begin? Beating Swansea twice felt so sweet, and then winning at Cardiff. I mean, you don't want to think about it, but it must be building up a bit. That Cardiff and Swansea always find something. They always manage to get something to turn the game their way when we're playing well. So to get rid of all that so well in the last few weeks, that must feel amazing.
100%. I think we're carrying a lot of momentum at the moment, and the group's really positive, and you walk in training, there's a great atmosphere. And of course, that's what's going to happen when you're winning. Since I've been at the club, we've never beat Swansea or Cardiff, and when we have played Swansea, we've been very, very unlucky at times. When we played at the racecourse, not this season, last season, I think they nicked a last-minute winner. We've just been really, just not fell our way kind of thing, but I think Cardiff was the biggest one for us. We beat Swansea once, we beat them again, right, okay, but Cardiff, they're miles ahead in the table, and I think that was the one that felt the best for us, because it was just kind of, last season we went away, we got beat, and the final last year, so I think that's the one that meant the most to us.
And that final as well, we played really well in that game. It was a classic example of, it showed why Cardiff are so good, didn't it? Because basically you can outplay them, but in either penalty area, they'll just come up with a bit of quality, and whether it's Chamberlain making saves or defenders blocking and making tackles, or whether it's, them just taking chances when they're not making many chances. But
100%.
But at Cardiff a couple of weeks ago, we were right on top of them. It was really fantastic to watch, and we were the ones who were ruthless, weren't we? They didn't get any shots in except for outside the box, really. And we were terrific, I thought. Must have felt amazing when that final whistle went.
Yeah, I think football can change very, very quickly, and that's the sweet thing about it. Like results or performances, whether you're in the team, out the team, football changes very, very quickly. So I think you can't get too high or too low when the results go your way or they don't go your way. You've just got to kind of stay in a grey area and just keep going, and keep your head on.
Exactly, and that's something like I said before. I think that the team have done unbelievably well, because it's the right thing to do, but loads of teams don't do it, do they? They'll lose their heads and it'll fall apart. I've got to say as well, at the end of the season, you can sit back and think about what you achieved, And last year, you get at the end of the season to go off to the States as well. I mean, that must have been unbelievable to go out to the US and do that.
That was a fantastic experience. Results didn't go our way over there, to say the least. But what a fantastic opportunity. And I think as a group, we learned a lot. You know, playing against we played a Mexican team, played American teams. And overall, just spending the time together and learning about one another. Like, we had new players. I don't think they came on the tour. But, you know, I was newly into the team. I'd only joined in March. So it's good as a group, you know, to get around each other and to learn, because as much as you know, you can have connections on the pitch, I feel like if you have good relationships with people off the pitch, that will help you on the pitch also.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it must have been amazing just seeing the reaction of the American fans as well. I mean, we get a lot of people watching the streams, you know, and it's easy to forget that perhaps when you're at the games, but wow, to see the reaction the American fans gave you must have been something else.
The support we got over there was absolutely unbelievable, Mark. It was fantastic. When we played at Portland, I think there was 10,000 there. You know, for people on the other side of the world, it's absolutely incredible. So we were very, very lucky, really, that we got that opportunity and that we had that experience.
You got the whole Hollywood experience, did you? You can't leave the hotel without getting mobbed.
No, we were quite good. We had we've got some really, really good memories as a group from on the Hollywood Strip. Some of the girls might tell you. Open bus tour. So yeah, we've got some really, really good memories as a group. So it's nice.
Well, next time you go, they'll be getting you to put your handprints on the sidewalk, won't they? So
I'm waiting for my Hollywood star.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what Disney can do, shall we?
That's what I'm waiting for.
I've got to mention something that you mentioned to me a few weeks ago, which really struck me. You know Billy Ashcroft, who was on this show at the start of the season. We interviewed him. Great guy, amazing player for Wrexham. And funnily enough, you have your connection to Billy, don't you?
You know what, Mark? We should have got him on with us today. That would have been great. Billy taught me to drive. We're going back 4 years ago, maybe nearly 5 now. Yeah. Didn't actually know he'd played football before I jumped in the car with him. And I was playing for Everton at the time, and he's a huge Everton fan. And he told me he'd played at Wrexham, he played in Holland. Yeah. And what a guy, great, great man. I still see him every day on the road, drive past him, I beep at him, and I'll still stay in touch with him. He always shouts at me for beeping at him, because sometimes he has his students on the test. So if I beep and they're on the driving test, he's going mad.
Brilliant. No, he was one of the all-time great Wrexham players. Brilliant centre forward, and played for Middlesbrough as well when they were a really strong Premier League team, and a top bloke. And I just love that you've just accidentally come across him, and now here you are starting for Wrexham yourself. Fantastic.
Yeah, he keeps up to date with the scores, and he'll always message me. And when we wasn't winning too many games, he gives a great bit of advice, to me. Stick in there, keep going. And then now we are getting the results. He's always looking out for us, and he's just a really, really top man and really, really nice guy.
Absolutely. So, and you'll get to play on the racecourse again as well. His domain, that's great. Good.
I'm going to drop him a message and try and bring him along. That'll be great.
Oh, that'll be something, wouldn't it? Excellent. If he wants to do some commentary, he's more than welcome.
He'll have to.
As long as he doesn't beep his horn when you're on the ball.
He'll probably be shouting me, giving me grief. Billy will.
That's true. In that case, I definitely want him on the commentary. Honestly, Brooke, this has been an absolute pleasure. It really, really has. You've done so well for the team as a person and as a player, and we're extremely proud of you and the team. So really, seriously, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a blast. It's been brilliant.
Thank you very much for having me, Mark. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you for your time. Yeah, Brooke, they're absolutely tremendous player for Wrexham, and Neil, a team that is going astonishingly well at the moment. 7 wins in a row now. It's that's not bad, is it?
Mark, from where they were, as you say, mid-season or coming to the end of the first phase of the season, where they needed so many points to overhaul Swansea, and fair play to them, they did that. They did everything they could, winning all their games, and the big crunch game against Swansea, which actually leapfrogged them above when they won there, and then they go down to Cardiff, a team again they've not beaten, and they go and beat them 2-1. Superb. They've beaten TNS along the way, and then we come to a cup game last weekend, Mark, and they were playing the team who were top of the Adran South, was it?
That's right.
Who hadn't lost the game for quite a while, I believe, as well.
And they won a huge game the Saturday before, very much like us winning at Wycombe, where they came into the game level on points with Swansea University and had to play Swansea away and got 2 late goals and won it. So, they were coming off a potentially title-winning win, so they really had form, absolutely.
Yeah, and what the Wrexham ladies do, as you say, they're the form team at the moment in the league. They've won 7 on the bounce, and they go down, played Pontypridd in Newtown, and they trounced them. You've watched all these games, Mark, and I've seen the excitement that comes out of you with following the team, and how they've progressed and they've dug in. They've continued to play as they've been trained, even though, as you say earlier, that they were losing games, but they were playing really well, and they've continued with that training theme, and it's come right. And as you say, 7 on the bounce is some record, and they're going to take some stock until the end of the season for somebody to beat them.
Exactly. Cardiff will win the league. There's not enough games left to overturn them, but I think second place is genuinely realistic target, which, considering the fact that 2.5 weeks ago we didn't look like we get into the top 4 anyway. Wow. Hell's bells, fair play, they've done so well. But you said trounced Pontypridd, and I totally agree with that choice of verb, especially if there's a sort of non-pejorative way you can put on it, because I thought, I don't want to be disparaging to Pontypridd. I thought you could see why they're doing well, and you could see what lay behind their team and their success. That they're very young, but basically their manager came in last season when they were doomed. They were bottom of the Adran Premier. They were clearly going down. She came in the January, and she basically moved on a lot of the older players. She obviously saw in the young players something that she liked. And in the second part of the season, it was too late to save them, but the young players did really well, and they got that experience. For example, we went there for our first away game and won 3-0 very easy. Our home game in the Rock, we were losing with 12 minutes left. We won it 3-2. But it's a different team. Yeah. And she's kept faith with those young players. 7 of the starting players were teenagers. And apart from the player who scored the own goal, really freakish own goal for us, who was 27, the rest of them were in their early 20s. But they played with real energy and spirit, and they kept going. And when it was 4-0, they really kept fighting when they could easily have cracked, because honestly, in the first half, we were unplayable. We were absolutely unplayable. We could have scored so many more. We scored after 6 minutes, 5 minutes. In the 6th minute, we have the most crazy goalmouth scramble. As Brooke said, their goalkeeper made an amazing save in the midst of it all. And again, as she said, she was man of the match. Brooke Velt, their goalkeeper. She made a string of wonderful, wonderful saves. We hit the bar. It was just spectacular. And our passing and movement in the first half, it's exactly what I've been saying. They've worked on this. And it was just so smooth, the rotations between positions and the way players would hit first-time passes, because they knew what their teammates were going to do. Wow, it was quite something. And I actually spoke to some of their young players, Pontypridd players, afterwards. They were leaving the ground, looked a little crestfallen. And I pointed out to them, they coped with us a damn sight better than Swansea did. Because we really mullered them, whereas Pontypridd showed guts in the second half and actually made us work. We were still going to win, but that's what I mean. it's a non-pejorative trouncing. There's no insult meant to Pontypridd. They came out of
no.
But we were untouchable in that first half. It was fantastic.
But that shows the progress that this team has made, in the last 7 or 8 games, how good they've become and how unbeatable they are, to be honest. And never say die, and that attitude that the players have all got. I mean, you got to think we could be playing Pontypridd next season.
Yeah.
If they win the playoff like Wrexham did a couple of years ago, we could be playing Pontypridd again because they're top of the league. So a good test for Wrexham. And as we spoke earlier, Mark, we meet Cardiff City yet again in a final like last year.
Yeah.
On a neutral venue, as we discussed.
It's a very neutral venue. Yeah. I was told by some fans before I heard the news that the Welsh FA just decided the cup finals are always at Newport now. Well, stuff that. It's my response if that's true. When I've seen it's then immediately confirmed. Let's remember, like I said before, the semi-finals took 3 weeks to organise, even though they put them in the obvious places. So
they were totally in the obvious places. Cardiff played TNS at Aberystwyth, halfway between both of them.
Yeah.
Wrexham played, Pontypridd and Newtown.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit closer for Wrexham than Pontypridd, but that was the only suitable stage in between both clubs.
Yeah. I mean, they could. I don't know. I just find it absurd. But then
it would be nice if we played the TNS or something like that, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Or Newtown. I mean, we should remember these are the Wrexham and Cardiff women's teams, so you're going to get a 4-figure crowd, but you're not going to get a crowd that Newtown can't handle. It's a nice setup there. They got the right media facilities there, and there's not going to be trouble. So why can't it be there? And if they're really saying Newport is this wonderful venue that it's an honour for the players to play on, which sorry, but it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's really one of the less.
Lovely.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's valuable to them, why not play at the racecourse? I mean, we're not going to get, apart from the travel advantage, but then we're at a travel disadvantage permanently if they're going to play all the cup finals in Newport. Well, I mean, we won't get much of a home advantage playing at the racecourse because we've only ever played there 3 times. So
yeah,
totally
agree with you.
Four times by the time we played this Welsh Cup final. But
perhaps somebody on the Welsh FA board having a vested interest in Newport County.
Well,
who knows? Eh?
Who knows? I should say that is not confirmed. And Neil is
not confirmed. I said maybe.
Just trying to keep your business for you, Neil. Lawyers can be difficult. My explanation is much simpler. I think an awful lot of people on the Welsh FA board have got vested interest in everything happening in the south.
South Wales, yeah. You talked about it before, Mark. They're really missing a trick, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, 100%.
With how Wrexham could have they've made this league a lot better, and there's bigger crowds at the women's game than they are at the Welsh Premier men's teams. And you've said it many times that the Welsh FA missing a trick, and this is a big trick they've missed now because there's not going to be maybe a couple of thousand from Wrexham maybe gone if it was somewhere like Newtown, and you may only get a couple of hundred down there now in Newport. So somebody's missing out. I mean, as long as the players are going to miss out because of, there's not going to be as much support there, and financially both clubs are going to miss out. And I guess the Welsh FA gets some of that money as well. So,
and also,
they're missing a trick.
Do they realise they're growing the women's game, or they should be trying to? Because think about the aesthetics, and those things are important because the impression of how strong a league is partly based on just what people see, isn't it? I mean, I remember, La Liga in Spain are obsessed with competing with the Premier League. And a few years ago, they ditched it because it was stupid. But a few years ago, they told their clubs, you must sell tickets for the side opposite the cameras first to give the impression of a full crowd, even if the other stand is empty. They had to ditch it because that's dumb, isn't it? If you've sat all your life in one stand, you're not going to be happy saying, all right, so now I've got to sit over there with the sun in my eyes because the TV wants it. But anyway, I digress. No, I don't. I gress. I don't know what that meant. What in terms of visuals, what would look better? Playing the Wrexham Cardiff game in Newport, which, as we saw last season, some people will come. Most will be from Cardiff. Not that many from Wrexham. In what, let's be frank, is a pretty unattractive rugby stadium. Or shall we play it at a big international stadium, recognised by people around the world, thanks to Rob and Ryan, which is packed out? Because it would be. I accept there would be a crowd advantage. I do accept that, and I must be honest, I didn't really think much of this idea until we started saying it. But it's a better option in terms of making the Adran League look, and Butte Energy, the sponsors of the cup, getting their value for money. Look at this big event that we do. But instead we're going to go down to Newport. Of course we are.
And how many were? Can you remember, Mark, how many were at the final last year? There,
I was just about to have a little look. Actually, you're a mind reader. I think it was a decent crowd, as I recall.
I think it was about 1,100 or something like that. Was it something like that?
It could easily have been, but I'll get my spreadsheet up now.
Anyway, we digress, because as you say, the women were superb in the first half against Pontypridd.
1,734. So that is an admirable crowd. Although I will point out that in the league 3 weeks earlier, we got 2,000 at the racecourse against Swansea. So maybe that should be taken into account, possibly as well. I'm not going to mention the 9,000 that we got when we played Connors Quay in what was, let's be honest, actually a meaningless game. I won't mention that. And we went 1,500 at Newtown, to follow up your point, against Britain Ferry in the promotion playoff. So that obviously is predominantly Wrexham fans, and so go figure. Pretty obvious open goal the Welsh FA have missed, but if you're good at something, stick at it, and they've missed a lot lately. But apart from that, I think they did a fantastic job, and you're quite right. Let's get back to that game. We were superb. Abby Idden's early goal, what a header, beautiful header. But Cara Jones, her corner, the stream of quality crosses, corners, and passing combinations that Cara came up with on the right hand side was scary. She did such a fantastic job, but I'm reluctant to pick people out because it was just an all round tremendous performance.
Does she fancy playing for the men's team?
There's a few players who have exactly the qualities that the men's team maybe would be looking for. But I'll tell you somebody who I would like to mention is that with Liv Fuller obviously out injured of that nasty knee injury, we've been looking at midfield. Mary Gibbard came in. Now, she's a very good, versatile centre mid who can play sitting in front of back four, playing off the striker, anything really in the middle of the pitch. And I thought she was very impressive. She came in, because Nat Clark also, who's been doing a brilliant job in that position, picked up an injury in training, so she missed a game. And Gibbard just slotted in and was really authoritative. I thought the Pontypridd couldn't help but be on the back foot throughout the first half. Mia Roberts tipped me off to watch out for their captain, Maddie Williams, in midfield, and she looked a good player, but she was defending all the time because we were penning them back. But Mary Gibbard's role in sort of bossing midfield and allowing Brooke Cairns and Lily Jones to get into attacking positions was really important. She was really commanding in the middle of the pitch. And while she didn't look to be spectacular, she was the foundation that an awful lot of good play was built on. And I think she deserves credit. She hasn't started for a few games, despite the fact she was in really good form. But then we found the combination I've mentioned before of Lily, Brooke, and Liv. And that midfield, I think, is the best in the division and has been bossing games. And Mary was unlucky to miss out, but she's come back in and just immediately slots in superbly. I think she deserves a lot of credit. It's not a difficult thing. It's not an easy thing to do that.
No, we scored 3 quick goals in that first half, Mark, to basically take this, take the tie really. And as you said, Pontypridd on the back foot because of our possession and the pressure we were putting on them. But this team's going to go a long way. They
got to go to Newport. Yeah, exactly.
And they've got to go to Britain Ferry on Sunday, Mark.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, and that is the scene of our really poor performance at the start of the season when we lost 3-0. There won't be a yellow weather warning this time, thank goodness. But they're a physical team, Britain Ferry, and they will test us. I've got a sneaking admiration for them. They're difficult to play against, and they've done brilliantly. Come straight up from Riyadh South and hit the ground running. And going there is tough. They only lost their first home game of the season in the first weekend of Phase 2 in Cardiff one there. And it's no disgrace to lose to Cardiff. So, yeah, that'll be a proper test, but fair play, we've been passing tests. And I really think, like I said, we've won 7 in a row now. Our equal second best ever run of results. And I've got into our second ever Welsh Cup final. Can't argue with the facts. It's decent.
No, and as you said earlier, Mark, there's quite a possibility that we could finish second in the league, which would be superb, based on last year. But we've got, as you say, a tough game away at Britain Ferry on Sunday, and then, a great chance then for the women then to come to the racecourse the following Sunday to play Britain Ferry yet again. We're in front of a decent crowd, and I'm sure the fans will turn out for them at the racecourse. Well, no matter what, no matter what the result is this Sunday at Britain Ferry, the fans will turn up for them next Sunday because they don't have many games at the Stoke Caerhar, so it's a great occasion for both the fans and the players.
And also they proved your point, the fans, because at the start of this season, after we'd lost to Britain Ferry, so we'd lost our first two matches of the season, and that Britain Ferry performance, like I said, was really disappointing. 3-0 loss as well, and the next game was at the racecourse, and it was a horrible night. Oh God, it was cold, it was pouring down, and we still got 1,300, even though, like I said, it was a sort of night when you don't really want to come out and watch the football. So yeah, get a good crowd there to watch a very good team. Obviously they're a really good team. So yeah, fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that, and I look forward to going out to Britain Ferry as well.
You've taken the women's team under your heart, really, haven't you, Mark? Take them under your wing because you've been impressed with them playing all season. At one point, I was saying that you were causing them to win because you were saying, "Oh, we're going to win this, we're going to win that," and we didn't. And then all of a sudden, they just clicked, and they've gone on and win games. So it'll be a good game for you on Sunday down at Britain Ferry. But another long journey for the girls. And are you leaving on the Saturday night, or are you travelling down on the Sunday?
Are you stalking me again, Neil?
No, I never stalk you, Mark. No, I train you, not stalk. Go on.
This guy knows his big birds. Don't take that the wrong way. I think I'm going to move on. No, it is fantastic. It really is, and it's just a joy to watch them and to talk about them. And the scary thing is, it puts me in mind of the episodes of The Simpsons where the meteor is supposed to hit Springfield, and Homer is the only person who thinks they won't be killed because he reckons that it'll burn up as it comes through the atmosphere because of all the pollution around Springfield. And in the end, the meteor will be just the size of a chihuahua's head when it hits the ground. And that is exactly what happens. And then Homer turns to his kids and says, Lisa says to him, "What scares me is that Dad was right." And that's how I feel about the women's team. I'm all along.
You were right, Mark.
Yeah, it's amazed. I'm scared. I'm scared too, Lisa. What the heck? I was right all along.
I just hope you're not the dad of all the women's team, Mark. That's all I can say.
You know what, Neil? You've lowered the tone, haven't you? You said that's a shocker. Well, I think he's brought this segment to a particularly lovely end, hasn't he?
Are you travelling down Saturday evening, Mark, or are you going down on a Sunday, young man?
He's obsessed. He's asked twice now. Are you in charge of my expenses or something? Or
No. I just want to know whether you're going to be in a rush. I just want to know whether you're going to be in a rush leaving the game on Saturday or not. That's all.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know yet, but I think I don't know yet. But I'm optimistic that I'll be rushing off. No offence.
I know at the Rotherham game you were in a rush because you were catching a bus from to go down to Cardiff.
I managed to get from a Wrexham game, which I then recorded a podcast at, to the Rock, bang on 5:30 when I was supposed to be there, and I couldn't believe how successful I was. I was very proud, and I won't name any names, but there was at least one player who arrived after me because she was at the game, and so I felt, wow. Because let's be honest here, I could totally understand them leaving without me if I wasn't on time. That would be completely understandable. But leaving without a player,
you're not that important, are you? So,
oh no, I'm not being facetious. I am not that important. If I was late, I would advise them to go. If I'm honest with you, I'm just weighing the bus down. I'm just adding a hell of a lot to their petrol bill. I think I've said this before. There's a dip out of the car park of the Rock, and Swansea and Cardiff have been last season both got beached on it. Cardiff brilliantly weren't able to shift it until about 10 minutes before the game ended. Otherwise, their players, well, would have been stuck up here in the north. And oh my gosh, imagine being in the north of Wales. If you're a South Walian, it'd be a nightmare. Yeah, the bus driver's always worried now, taking the Wrexham team to the away games. Oh, what's that scraping noise? Why is the bottom of the coach scraping? It's me. It's just my extra weight. It's just lopsided where I'm sitting. It's grinding along. It's like Herbie Goes Bananas. There's a reference for the kids.
Right. Yeah, I think on that note, Mark, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. Yeah. I don't know. Neil, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been brilliant.
It is. And just a quick note, Mark, it shows the progression of the women's team is the amount of time now we talk about, the women's team compared to the men's team is about equal, and it's great to see.
Well said, Neil, and that is how it should be. Absolutely right. Oh, and I should say, I forgot to mention, the under-19s women team are very close to winning their league as well. So that's a fantastic achievement. It was the perfect weekend last weekend because they won at Connors Quay Nomads. They were losing 1-0 at a half-time in what I believe was a heck of a sort of ding-dong game. We made lots of chances. Ryan Barnett's sister got the equaliser, and then we got the winner. And then also the youth team, the men's youth team, won at Harrogate on Saturday, a late winner. So all our teams won at the weekend. That's perfect. But I know that the women's team, it's ours to lose. There's 4 games left, and we've got a 6-point lead. We played at second place team TNS. So, it's in our hands. Yeah. And we also played Newtown, who haven't got any points twice in that 4. So again, we're in a fantastic position. So silverware coming our way. Let's hope so. Right. I'll let you go, Neil. And
yeah, I'll let you go, Mark, as well. You need to pack for Sunday night, mate.
Yes, exactly. Why? What's happening on Sunday night? Is it?
Saturday night. Saturday night.
Yeah, I need to get back in that garden and put some proper effort in.
Yeah, I've got a pig due to give birth, so we've got to go up and have a look at her as well in a minute. We've got 2, actually. 2. And we have to put the light on if she started to give birth to keep the baby ones warm, see, as well. So we put infrared light on.
Oh, so how do you create light in Whitchurch?
Very difficult, mate. I have to spend all night up there on a push bike, pedaling away.
Nice. Oh, wow. Fair enough. And on that bombshell, on that pig shell, let's scarf it, shall we? Cheers, Neil. As always, that was brilliant.
Cheers, Mark. Yeah, great talk.
That was Final Whistle Weekly.